Hi, everyone.
Hey,
I'm Alicia,
and I'm Meredith.
and this is Winter is Fun, a Winter House podcast, season 2, episode 2. I can't believe the show is back, and I can't believe it's serving
I was
drama.
about to say, I'm actually really enjoying it.
I'm
And one thing
impressed.
I'm really excited is I'm really convinced they're still doing 6 episodes this season. So, like,
I'm
short, sweet,
amazing,
and
to the point.
powerful. Like, we love it.
And we're already 2 in, and we haven't seen Austin, so like best season ever.
Wait, so just Austin's probably only a part of 2/3 of the season. Let's just
Fine.
keep that for next season, too.
I'm obsessed already. Okay, so we want to get straight into it, but before we do, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have It's About the Pasta Vanderpump Rules podcast, and we have One Season Wonders. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Vanderpasta. I'm back with the tweets that I find. They are not my tweets. I just find them, and they are the most popular tweets. I don't go looking for the people that only have like 1 or 2 likes. These are the top trending ones.
Yeah,
We
so
don't
you don't
always
have to
agree.
dig.
Yes, but this is what the people are saying.
And what's great is you get them like right after the episode.
Yes.
Like basically within at least 48 hours of the episode. So like it's a nice in between because we dropped this a few days after the episode aired. So you get a little bit of stuff in between.
And I do some polls because
Mhm.
I want to hear thoughts. Okay. And then also join, I guess is the right word. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our pre-shows. This one, we went over BravoCon. So if you want to hear
Yes.
our opinions, what we did, what we learned,
And it's
$1.
live to the public. I'll post the link a few times and we can kind of save it in our
Oh yeah.
things.
We wanted you guys to hear. Usually our pre-shows are $1 a month, but this one you can check out
for anyone
because we wanted to share BravoCon.
Yes.
And then you get access to any episodes we record early, including this one. It'll drop on the Patreon first, not that much early, but sometimes they will be a few days earlier depending on our schedules. So please check that out. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and do old seasons, we'll do an after show where we talk about Bravo news. So we're not just like living back in the past because we have to gossip about all these people. And then also we'll say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Chris, Danae, Dustin, Jackie, Jamie, Casey, Kimberly, Cameron, Tiffany, Tonette, Tracy, Gina, Jennifer, Kirsten, Kelsey D, Kelsey M, and Mariah.
Woohoo! Packed house.
We got a few new people.
We love it. Live seasons
with.
is the time to be here. Not that like off season's not fun because that is a different type of fun, but like really big bang for your buck.
And then for $5 a month, this is my favorite one. You get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus during live season. So now I will post in the Patreon. I will ask for your opinions, thoughts, questions, concern, literally anything you want to tell us about, literally anything. And we'll read them on the podcast. And then also we'll pick a patron of the episode. So before I go into what people have commented, we're going to pick a patron of the episode. So this week I'm going to pick Casey because Casey gave us comments for last week and for this week.
Yes.
Although we're going to shout all of you out that did comment, but Casey gave us a good amount. We're going to discuss. Casey, thank you so much for participating. Thanks, we love having you as a part of our Patreon. Okay, so this is from last week because we posted and recorded right away, so we didn't get a chance to like really do a sweeping. Yes. So Jackie says that Krat's frat bestie is barf emoji. Hard pass. Which like kind of, but also like I'm not mad at him. I don't know where I stand yet.
I really enjoy new people, so that's why I like the shifted dynamic and like meeting new people. Like I like that atmosphere of Winter House. So like I like the energy he's bringing as the new person.
Okay, fair. So also Craig officially remains the worst. Team Luke always. Interested in Jason and Lindsay's story. Which like I cannot wait for, Jackie. Oh my god. And then loving Kyle and Amanda 2.0. Me too.
Same on
they
all
just
of
needed
that.
to get married.
What's funny is we are getting a different version of Craig who sucks, which I just think is hilarious. Like there are so many like different phases of Craig sucking, and he just brings a new one to every show.
I know, he's so rough. But also Tonette, who thinks Corey is very hot,
Yes.
said she just has weird taste. So Tonette, I love you responding to Jackie though. Get it going, get these discussions happening.
I love.
And then Casey said, agree, loving Kyle and Amanda. I think it's the first time ever they didn't fight in the first episode. I think you're right.
And Kyle really has grown. Like, he was upset he didn't get the master, but like he did not throw a full tantrum and complain about it the entire
I mean,
episode.
he got $500 fucking dollars.
Also true. It's kind of hard to complain when you have between the two of you $1,000 in your pocket.
So regarding Amanda and birth control, which was a storyline episode 1.
Yes.
Where she's talking about, you know, I think it's very common when you're on birth control for so long and then your body gets off of it.
But I don't think people know about it.
No, yeah. You might not be able to get pregnant right away. It might take a little bit for your body to readjust.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a doctor. I have no idea, but I've heard of this before. But it is still very heartbreaking for someone who really wants a child. So, Casey said the same thing happened to me when coming off birth control to start a family. Oh, I only had 2 periods in 10 months. Whoa. So I guess it is like really common.
I think it's just different for everybody. And so I don't think people are educated on it. I think it's something that's not like widely talked about, except like friend to friend. So I think this is really cool. Like, it's being talked about on a bigger platform.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. Okay.
Because Casey, if you're not informed of like what could happen, then it's harder to have those conversations with your doctors. Yeah. So I think this is just great to get that information out there and for people to share their experiences. So like as a whole, like, you know, like people with periods like
Casey can relate, or someone who is maybe currently going through it can also be like, that's me too.
Yeah. It kind of helps on your like decision platform of like, before you start birth control, if you're on birth control now, or if you're coming off of it, like at every point, it's informational to know this stuff. Yeah, I had definitely no idea.
I didn't either. Casey also says Craig and Luke drama came out of nowhere. Agreed. I had no idea.
Because we had a whole season of Summer House that has aired where we did not get any of this. And that all happened right after 4th of July.
I literally have no idea.
I feel like I need to go back and watch Summer House and see their interactions, because clearly like producers didn't make that part of the storyline. Like
they had none.
But exactly, like, were they avoiding each other? Like the little things, like did they give each other side eye, and like they just didn't edit it in and like let us know.
And then also says can't get past Corey's douchey look, even to notice if he is a nice guy. Agreed. I mean, he looks like a douchebag. And he's friends with Craig, which those are not good
fraternity brothers with Craig too.
You're right. They're brothers. Little brothers. I hate them. Okay, so then we have other comments, but we will talk about those at the end because they have to do with this episode. So let's talk about this episode.
Let's dive in.
So previously on Winter House, we meet Jess, who I, in my notes, made Julie. I put it as Julia so many times.
I could not remember her name the entire episode. I knew it was a J, and I had to Google halfway through what her name was.
If I say Julia, I am so sorry. I try to take them all out, but it's a lot.
I know it now because this episode is really big with her. Like, I will forever have her name ingrained in my brain.
I think her name is still Julia to me. You can't have a new blonde girl both with J names. I can't. I don't care enough. Okay, so so we meet Jess. It's Jason's friend. We learn that this is the longest Craig and Paige will be together. Amanda and Kyle are doing really good. We meet Corey, who's Craig's little frat brother. But then we find out Corey owns a gym and like paints and has like some depth to him.
Yeah, shocking.
Sierra is a little into Corey. We also have Rachel, the florist, from Amanda and Kyle's wedding. And Jason might be kind of into Jess, but Luke is definitely into Jess. And Jess is into the most powerful guy in the room, which happens to be Luke this episode.
I was so confused by that comment. I still am. Well, in my mind, I was like, well, I guess the most important or like loudest, in my opinion, are both taken. Craig and Kyle are both taken.
Yeah, so like limited options, I guess, but like Luke is like with Jason. Corey's at least in the middle somewhere, right?
I don't know.
I don't know what happened here. But yeah, Craig is a complete train wreck and is embarrassing Paige.
And Paige does not want to deal with it, which I feel that, hun.
I feel it, but girl, you gotta sit your man down and be like, you're a psychopath. Calm it.
Yes,
Calm it.
yes,
Take it down 17 levels.
yeah.
Full.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
She's willing to deal with Southern charm, crazy Craig, who was like on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like a 5, 6. This
Yeah.
is level 10. Like
This is Craig on old seasons of Southern Charm. When
he
you're
did
like,
not punch
he
a like
no, you're right. He wasn't
a
even this bad.
pinata. He's like messy, very loud and destructive. Like whereas like he is messy, loud in like conversations, but not in a physical way.
Let's get into the episode. I have so
Yeah.
many thoughts. So, we pick up right where we left off, which I don't know what time it is or day, so whatever. But
It's the nighttime after that party.
it's a time. So, Amanda and Paige are still talking. Paige wouldn't know what to do if Craig got in a fight with her friends, even though he's egging a lot of her friends on. And Amanda just says, do what she does. Tell him he needs to apologize and then talk shit about him with your friends.
Love.
Love
This
that.
is funny how this is mirroring Amanda's early like seasons of Summer House.
Someone made a tweet that was like Paige, and it was like way down in my scrolling, but it was like Paige telling Amanda that her and Kyle should not get married did not age well after watching this episode.
I
Like,
disagree because I think
telling Amanda like this man does not treat you or your friends right, and then it was like, oh, she did. She was
think when Paige said that, I think the interactions of Kyle and Amanda were way different than what's happening between Paige and Craig.
I don't know. It looks the same on TV.
Because
it looks.
Kyle was saying like the only thing we have in common is work. Like he was like basically bitching about Amanda, whereas like Craig is just being mean to all of Paige's friends. Not great by any means, but they're also not engaged.
I don't know which is worse. Okay, so Craig and Corey are doing a dog pile on Kyle. Rachel and Jason talk in the kitchen. They hold hands because Jason's warm and Rachel's cold. And I think that they had some sexual
type of
spark.
flirting I love. Like
I was obsessed.
When people like are touchy feely, like in the early, like I don't like to be like I don't like people like hugging
I don't
me or
like
anything. But I think it's like a clear sign that people are into you when they like are like physical touch it or like really early on. Like they are clearly trying to be close to you.
They
so, like,
did
sparks
eye
are flying in my
contact
mind.
too. A lot of eye contact.
I'm like, here we go.
So Luke and Jess are still in the hot tub. Jess doesn't want to kiss on the first date. Luke respects that.
Yeah, this makes a lot. They're not also not on a date. Like they're just in a hot tub after a party with their friends.
But she tells Luke like she wants to. She's just like not gonna.
Yes.
And Luke's like, I want to make you feel comfortable, so that's fine. So he goes to bed. He says he's gonna take a warm shower, which is some bullshit. You about to take a cold shower, dude. We know. And then Sierra's bed again. Fucking clothes everywhere. This bitch cannot just hang them up.
No. She always says she doesn't. She said at the Summer House panel that she didn't have hangers or like anywhere to put her clothes that one season on
Order them off Amazon.
Exactly. Come on. Like you're not a seasoned veteran. Like get this together.
Okay, so we finally get the day and time. It's Saturday, 1:37 a.m. Craig's talking about how Paige is the best girl in the entire world, but he's talking to himself. That's the cameras. Everyone's getting ready for bed. Kyle talks gibberish to Amanda, but they're in love, so she kind of understands. And then I think Sierra runs into a door or something.
I missed that. Damn.
Oh my God. She just was walking and then goes, ow. And I was like, but it was like cut weird because the angle. And I was like, did she hurt herself? Anyway, it's Sunday, 6:31 a.m. Early bird Rachel's up.
God.
She doesn't clean as much though, but she does make breakfast.
Which this makes sense. Like I would get hungry if I was up at 6 a.m.
Agreed. I wake up all the time and I'm hungry no matter what time it is. So then we find out Rachel's never had a vacation because she runs her entire florist business on her own. And her internal clock wakes her up at 5 a.m. We find out because a lot of the floral places are out of flowers by like 6:30 a.m. So you got to be there early. You got to get up.
Early bird gets the worm. I like seeing this side of people. Like that's what I really enjoy about Summer House is like we get the business side of people. So I'm really
Yes.
excited that we are like learning more about, you know, Rachel's work life.
Yes. So everyone starts to wake up. Amanda and Kyle talk about how Craig is out of control. They're also like long distance, so they've never had to share a space. So
Yeah.
this is like really tough, I think, for Craig and Paige. But like, blessed it's not Kyle. Everyone's yelling at.
I
Shout out.
seriously. Wow. This is tricky. I do not envy the Paige and Craig stuff.
So it's Sunday, 11:10 a.m. The place is absolutely trashed. Luke brings Jess some coffee. Rachel's been up
The
for
spirit of
what?
Andrea lives on, and I
I
really
love
enjoy it. He is teaching people the right things.
this. Yeah, this man left his mark.
Yes.
Um, Rachel's been up for 6 hours. We also find out that though she's a florist, she cannot keep plants alive. So
This kind of makes sense though. Like, well, because I think Jason said like you must have a lot of flowers at home, and she was like, weirdly enough, no. That makes sense to me. Like after being with flowers all day, I literally wouldn't want them all over my
yeah.
house either. But it seems like she's a very, very busy person, so she does not have time to water a plant. Maybe she needs an air plant, you know, where you really don't have to do
I love
anything
it.
for
I have
it.
an air plant.
Yeah.
I love. Okay, so last night Luke and Jess were a little awkward, but they've agreed to take things slow. And then like Luke works out, and then Craig talks about how he has no clothes to wear, which I don't know why, because this is day 2. I don't know where his clothes are. Maybe
He said
Amazon didn't deliver
his
them.
boxes haven't arrived yet. So I think he probably packed a suitcase with like
With what?
a few, well, like 3 days worth of clothes.
It's
And
day
then
2.
well, okay, Paige explained on the Summer House panel that for Winter House, they have to change into a different outfit every single
Every
activity
day.
they do.
Yeah.
So like a suitcase worth of clothes would be gone in 3 days.
It's
3 days.
been 1 day.
You're right.
Or no. 2.
Yeah, it
This is
has.
day 3. Because
Yes. We have
Rachel's
woken up to day 3.
already.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you came here with clothes on your back, so don't count those in the suitcase.
So Paige disagrees with Craig's behavior. But you know, she's dated people before that are so perfect, and she's been really bored. So at least here she's like not bored. She likes his messiness and his obnoxiousness.
This makes sense to me. Like, not to this degree. Again, like I said, I think we're at level 10. But like Craig on like Southern Charm version of messiness, I don't like doesn't bother her. Like it does it for her, and that makes sense to me.
I think it's different when Craig's yelling at his own friends versus he's yelling at Paige's
Yes,
friends.
I agree.
It's
That
like,
is very true.
Keep that separate.
Or like Lindsay on Summer House, you know, last season.
That
like she
was
doesn't
so funny. That was so funny.
Her inner circle is now being
Lindsay,
involved in this.
You're a loser. Okay, so it's 12:09 a.m. There's broken glass in the kitchen. The girls are stepping on it.
That would piss me off.
That'd make me mad because I don't think to wear shoes in the house.
Exactly.
I get out of bed, I'm barefoot.
Maybe I have socks on, but like that's not going to protect me.
No. So Craig walks downstairs. He's like, wow, this is the worst I've ever seen this house. And everyone's like, well, you did that.
Yes.
And his response is, we don't know that.
But then Corey's like, yeah, dude, you literally punched that whole pinata. And Craig was like, are you sure?
Also, Bravo
I was there, yes.
Bravo rolled the tapes. He's like, we don't know that. Tapes are rolled. We're fine. So we're all in Paige and Craig's room now. Like everyone has congregated there to kind of be like, what are we going to do about this house? No one wants to do it alone. So Jason's like, how about this? 20 minutes. We all go downstairs. We clean the house together. Everyone's like, sounds great. Craig says he's not cleaning because he doesn't clean. But he's 34. He makes plenty of money. And when he goes on vacation, someone cleans for him.
I get this to a degree.
I think it's how he said it, where he was very like, I don't clean. I have money. I'm going to pay someone to clean. It's like, well, sir, here's the issue. We live in this house and there's no one to clean here.
Yes.
So immediately
we're not at a resort where there's a whole staff and you're saying
also, you can't trash a hotel room like this. That's disrespectful.
That's the thing. Like some of it is like messy cleaning, which like, yeah, I'm not cleaning toilets while I'm here. If somebody told me to do that, Craig's like little phrase here would make sense to me. I'm not here to clean like toilets while I'm on vacation, especially when we're going to be here for 16 days. I'm not going to clean a bathroom while I'm here. This is stuff messiness. And like, shit that doesn't need to be messy.
Yeah, if we can't live in that area because of the mess, we have to clean it up.
Yes, like it's a bunch of like decorations, and we do not need to be throwing glasses against the wall like messiness.
No, spilled alcohol needs to be cleaned up. We're not going to get ants while we're here. Like, if we just need to get it together.
And this will not truly take that long. Like, that's the type of messiness it is. It's not like dirty, it's like stuff. So like we just need to pick it up.
Yeah. So then people are like, this isn't a money thing. And then he says, if I have to clean up after myself, I'm not going to party like that anymore. And people are like,
then don't. You actually shouldn't.
You should go to bed like everyone else. Okay. It's the consequences to your own actions.
It's weird because we didn't have this problem last season. So I'm confused at what's different this season versus last season.
I also am confused because then Luke is like, but I've never had anyone like clean up after me. So like you're not going to have that either. Or I think Craig's kind of saying like, we can hire people. And Luke's like, I don't hire people. Like I can clean up after myself. And Craig's like, well, you look like a good cleaner, which again is just
some digs with their dumb little firework fight.
It angers Kyle, who's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, be an adult. And then Craig literally has a tantrum about like, he's not going to clean. Corey says he's always kind of been like this in college. And I'm like, fine, but like, you're living in a frat house, so you can like do that shit. This is everyone's house, and you're 30 something.
In a frat house, you do have cleaners. But the thing is, the pledges do have to still clean stuff. After a party, the pledges would have to clean it. But yes, there's like a cleaning crew that like vacuums the floors every week.
Which your frat pays for. So.
Yes.
Also, you're 34.
You should be able to clean up.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not asking you to deep clean here.
No, forget the rugs. Just get everything off the ground.
Sweep up the floor so it's not messy.
Sticky.
Yes.
So then everyone's like, but we're stepping in glass. We got to clean it up now. Mm-hmm. And then Craig's like, Corey, are you going to clean? And Corey's like, if everyone else is cleaning, I'm going to clean, dude.
Corey has the mentality I need Craig to have. Like, Corey doesn't want to clean either, but he's not throwing a tantrum about it. And he's going to like mosey about and like half clean probably. But he's not going to bring attention to himself half cleaning. He's just going to like be there and physically be present.
I'll take out the trash. I'll get you new paper towels. That's fucking fine. Whatever. I would have pulled a Rachel. I would have looked at this mess and said, I'm not going to do it unless everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
But everyone's going to do it. So that means you also.
Everybody's going to be around at least while we're doing it too. Like, be strategic. This is how I like to clean. Like, I've been in environments like this where you're like, let's all clean. And I'm like, yeah, I will never grab a broom. I don't like sweeping. I don't want to be the one mopping. So like, I'll take the trash out. I'll like slowly put trash into a trash bag, because if we're all going to clean for 20 minutes, my time, I'm going to be petty and I don't want to clean. So I'm going to clean really fucking slow because everybody else is going to clean it up around me.
Yes, you have to do something.
Yeah.
So they all go downstairs and Luke is like fuming. So he's like, but he's not showing it. He doesn't like show he's angry like Craig. He's just obviously annoyed.
Yeah.
And he's like, we all come from different values and backgrounds, I guess. And then Craig gets mad because he hears this and says that his dad actually owns a cleaning company. And Luke's like, so you should know how to clean.
I'm shocked to hear that.
And maybe Craig's dad cleaned after him his whole life.
I mean, granted, Craig literally paid Kyle and Amanda off $1,000 to get a bedroom. Douchey. So like, I shouldn't be shocked that he like wanted to pay for cleaners. But again, this is 17 days. Like, sir, get it together.
Yeah, but then so we find out Craig says he came from nothing and worked his ass off, which is a theme on Southern Charm because everyone else is kind of trust fund baby, and he's not. But now he makes enough money. He doesn't have to do what he doesn't want to do, and he's first generation money. Which is the douchiest thing he could have said.
Agreed. And I think this is becoming a miscommunication between Luke and Craig. And it's just where like Craig's going to be set off by anything Luke says. Luke's comment was not about money. It was about
he doesn't clean. Maybe he didn't grow up cleaning. Maybe his dad cleaned after him.
I think it's kind of like the value of hard work. Like Luke would rather do something himself out of the value of hard work.
Maybe
rather than like pay somebody to do it, no matter how much money he has. And I think
possibly.
Luke is just trying to like say like, listen, like we come from different backgrounds. Not everybody like has to do this. And I don't think it was a major dig. Like Craig is really taking it.
I took it more as like, so growing up, I always had to clean after myself.
Yes.
But like some people didn't. Some of my friends, their moms picked up after them, which is
Yes. Like, I
unfair.
don't think it truly has
So
to do with money and hiring cleaners. I think it's just like,
no,
did you have chores
what'd
as a
you value
kid?
growing up? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to be clear. Okay. Craig does not make enough money to pull this shit. This
No.
is my personal thought. This is not anyone on Winter House, but I bet you even Beyonce and Michelle Obama have to pick up after their children and do shit they don't
To
want to
some
do.
degree. 100%.
So listen up, Craig. You might be first generation money or some shit, but that doesn't mean that the money rains from the sky and you could do whatever the hell you want to do. Okay. Okay. You are
Yeah.
not that rich. Also, if you don't want to clean, I did this before. I think Kyle mentions it later, but if you don't want to clean, you should have hired someone beforehand. You
Yes.
should have
It's a
set
Sunday, I
something
think
up.
they said. Like, we can't,
Yes.
you're not gonna, it's definitely a weekend. It's either a Saturday or Sunday, because they said like you will not be able to call someone up now and get someone
Kyle,
here.
yeah, Kyle dead ass looks at him and goes, where are you getting a cleaning company on a Sunday? Right now, call it. We're not living in this. Like, where are you getting it?
And like these, a good chunk of these people are summer house people who already do communal living, share a house. They do get a cleaner to deep clean the stuff, but the
They pick
housemates
up.
always pick up. Yeah,
They
the
never
parties.
leave it trashed.
No. It's like, okay,
And
yeah, I'm not mopping the floors and cleaning the toilets. If there's a red stain on the floor, they're gonna clean that up. But
also, if
we're picking
something,
up from a party.
yeah, if something does get trashed, like when they trashed the pool by putting a bunch of tea in it, they called themselves someone to come and clean the
Yes.
pool and paid their
Just
own money for that shit.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that this isn't trust fund babies. We have a cleaner lined up. We're all gonna fucking pick up.
Yeah.
We're all gonna do this. So then Craig just gives up. He's gonna clean. And then that's where he's like, Luke probably doesn't know what cleaning companies are because he lives in the backwood
Stop being
cabin.
bratty, Mr. First Gen Money. Stop being a little brat.
First gen money. I hate him. Okay, so we've made it to 120. Paige is super annoyed with Craig. She's literally behind his back, like, has he ever just shut his mouth for more than 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Yep.
Jason's gonna go to the grocery store so they can smoke some meat. Or no, Jason
Corey.
mentions.
Yeah.
Jason mentions the grocery store. Corey's the one that goes.
Yes.
And so Jess decides to go because she also wants to get to know other people.
She's cracking me up with her, like, we need salmon and salad, like we need healthy things.
Like, girl, you're here for 16 days. Eat the meat. Eat the meats.
She's like trying to tell him what she wants, and she's like, I'll just go with you.
Yeah, we need salad, some carrots, some cabbage. I was like, just fucking go. We see that Craig has put his book in the living room.
A signed copy too.
A signed copy. I love. And Amanda's very hungover. So then it's 2:04. Jess and Corey go to the store. Even Corey sees that Jason and Luke are both trying to get with Jess. But Corey's playing the long game with all the girls because he is interested in all of them.
Which is smart, like kind of like play the field. You're just getting to know these people. Why put all your eggs in one basket? He's playing the Love Island game, and I love it.
It's been 3 days.
Yeah.
We have time. Rachel goes to sleep. Craig is shaving his neck outside in the blizzard.
I actually love this because he says outside, he's like, I hate shaving my face because it gets everywhere. And I'm like, that makes so much sense. Yeah, that's genius to actually go outside because he's just trimming it.
Maybe he's not a cleaner. He just thinks, how can I make the least amount of mess? But then
that's not true.
He does the
party
opposite.
Craig, yeah, is exactly.
And then at the store, Jess didn't know there was alcoholic or non-alcoholic seltzer. Fun girl.
Honey.
Fun girl. 2:31 p.m. Jason and Craig are drinking outside. And Kyle will join them eventually. But the girls, Amanda, Paige, and Rachel, talk in their room about how Craig was yelling. So these are our 2 points. So first, the boys. Jason shoveling the deck so everyone can drink out there. Craig is not helping. But Kyle and Craig are talking about how a year ago, Craig was actually in a different relationship with a phone. It was supposed to be Natalie on the other end, but she never was there.
Tons of voicemails.
Yeah. And then they also talk about how Paige and Craig do argue, but the long distance helps them because then they have their own space. So they actually can go to bed mad and not wake up with
It
initiative.
is really nice, I bet, to like
Nice.
refresh and go to your
Hell
literally
yeah.
go to your own space, and then it keeps it exciting and fresh. Like you are looking forward to seeing your partner.
Yeah, for sure. So then the girls talk about how Paige really likes being long distance and she's not ready to leave New York yet. She knows they can't be long distance forever, but when they move in together, they'll definitely hire a cleaner.
Such a good joke.
And then yeah, okay, so then Corey and Jess head back. Jess thinks Corey's super fun, and it's nice to talk to someone that's not coming onto her too strong, such as my man Luke, and
Yes.
honestly, Jason a little bit. Okay, so it's 2:47. We have grocery, we got the meats. Luke gives Jess a long little hug when she shows up because he really missed her from her going to the store.
Yes.
And Corey flicks her off because he sees
he sees what is going on here. Especially, yeah, after you get like somebody alone, you get a little bit more insight into what they're thinking. And I think Corey can see that she probably is like interested in Luke, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's been 3 days. This man acts like he hasn't seen her in a week and a half.
Yeah, like she just
We're
went
good.
off to war and she like came home safe.
Yes. So now, oh, and Rachel and Jason take a shot, which is romance. I'm telling you, these
Dude,
two.
they're like they're slow burn, but they're giving me like
It's cute.
excitement on like
It's
what
giving it.
the activities they're doing alone.
Yes, I love. So it's 3:58 p.m. We're gonna play a game. So it's basically like you fill up a glass of beer and then you like slide it across the table, and then you have the other person has to catch it and chug it. So really, I think it would be a more fun game and probably would break less glasses if it was just flip cup, because you can chug that
That's what I
too.
couldn't understand. Like, is this supposed to be like a flip cup kind of thing where like you have a team and you keep sliding them down and it's just like kind of like a chugging race, but then there wasn't ever like the next person.
There was no one that won.
There didn't seem like a competition. It just seemed a fun way to get a beer and chug it.
Yeah, but then when you missed the beer, you didn't get a beer because it fell off the table.
At least the broken glass is outside this time.
Yeah. Oh, and then you switch sides to make it like more fun. So Sierra says she isn't here to meet a guy, but Corey's obviously hot, so she's gonna flirt. And then a straight up snowstorm comes in, so everyone goes inside. And then it's 5:20, and the boys are gonna cook some meats on the not a steamer, what's it called, the smoker.
What? Oh, I was like, the grill?
No, it's a smoker. There's a difference.
Oh Lord.
Okay, and they talk about how, because Luke's not outside, they talk about how Luke won't let Jess just breathe, which is true.
So it is true. He is always around her.
He's there. He's like that guy. He's just there.
Yep.
So then it's time, everyone decides to go sledding while the meat's cooked. And no big call outs except Amanda gets fucking destroyed on her sled.
Yeah, she hurts her knee, which this has happened. Not this, I haven't run into a tree. Well, I have run into a tree sledding, but I've injured my knee sledding, and it is really difficult because you were at the bottom of a hill.
Yeah. Also, it looks like she almost like hit something, flew, and then hit that. We didn't get a good angle of it.
No,
but man,
no. I feel for her.
Sledding's no fucking joke sometimes.
No.
Okay, and then it's 7:05. Kyle asked Jess how Vermont's treating her, and she's like, it's no LA where I do real estate and work in the metaverse. And Kyle is just as confused as I am about what the fuck the metaverse is.
I literally laughed so hard during this because I can, the high level, I think, explain it and understand it in my brain.
No.
But I am right here with Kyle where I'm like, if somebody was talking to me, I'd be like, okay, like
I'm as confused as Kyle. And then when she describes it as Zillow for the digital world, I literally went, what does that mean?
Well, because I didn't know she was selling real estate in the metaverse.
Oh, she sells real estate in the metaverse.
That's what I'm just like, what?
How do you do that?
I don't know. I understand from a high level what a metaverse is.
It's just like it's Sims.
It's a basically. Yes, it's like a space online where people hang out. Like, you understand that. Like, we both got that down. Yeah, but I don't understand what she does in the metaverse. I'm so confused.
She sells people shit? Did she make money off that?
But isn't it all fake? How do you sell something like, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. Is she selling the plots of land in Sims and then the houses in Club Penguin?
Is
Because she
it
said she
like,
sells them in multiple
is it like
metaverses.
do you think it's like an app where you have to sometimes use real money to buy
A
coins?
fake
Then you can,
space. Yes. I
so
think
then
people
there's
are
real
buying
money
with real money.
circulating.
Yes. Real money for a digital space.
She's not a real estate agent. What the fuck? I'm upset. Oh, okay, so whatever.
She sells
so
Club Penguin igloos.
I'm so upset at this girl right now. I hate her. I don't know her and I don't like
I just
her.
don't understand who's buying this shit. If
Zilla.
somebody understands it, like is a participant in this stuff, can you please DM us?
I'm picturing so many weird things I can't describe. Okay, so Craig, he's happy that Corey and Jess got out of the house because Craig's trying to keep Jess away from Luke, that fucking creep. And so Corey, he's like, yeah, fine, but then tells Paige that his type is dark skin, dark hair. And Paige is like, all right, so Sierra is who you just described.
Sierra perfectly.
And
What do you think about her?
Corey says he does feel a vibe, but he knows Austin's coming in.
Yeah.
And Paige also picks up that Corey's holding back because Austin's going to be here and that's just going to be drama. But like Paige says, Sierra is so stunning. And I'm like, that's fine, but it doesn't mean that this is going to be enjoyable to be a part of.
True. But I appreciate
I
Paige. Like, she's like, let's get this going.
Wing woman it up, but you're really setting Corey up for failure.
I somewhat agree, but she is doing a good job of trying to push it before Austin comes. I think that is key.
I think so. So it's 8:16 p.m. We all sit down for dinner. Craig asked Luke for his craziest ski story, and Luke's like, I don't have those. I have crazy hockey stories though. And Craig's like, no one wants that. And I was like, what's the difference?
Oh, okay. Luke does talk. I'm sure Luke talks about hockey a lot. So I'm sure at some point you're like, I don't want to hear these stories anymore.
Why would you assume? I don't think he's just like a avid
skier. Well, he's not. No, well, I think Craig said snowboarding, but either way.
Oh,
like one. If you ask a question and somebody else gives you an answer you didn't want, just be polite and then don't ask a follow-up. Like, listen to the story. And you're at a group table, just let it be. Because
then Craig does not tell us. Craig has a story, but it's not about snowboarding or skiing. He tells a story about him and Corey getting arrested in Palm Beach for shooting fireworks.
Oh,
and Luke is like, almost happened in Minnesota too.
I can't. This bickering about this firework. I never want to hear a firework ever again after this storyline.
Here's the thing though, Craig can dish it, but he cannot take it. Because he's like, no one wants to hear your hockey stories. Luke's fine with that. Craig keeps talks about something that relates to Luke. Luke is like, almost happened in Minnesota. And Craig's just like, the fuck, man. And so they start arguing.
Yes, and he's like, you don't like fireworks. And Luke's like,
Luke hates fireworks.
I do like fireworks, just not when they're shot off next to my boat.
Also, those weren't your fireworks. And Craig's like, what would you do if you walked in a room and you saw fireworks? And people are like, I don't know, leave. Like,
I don't know.
What a weird question. I'm not in that situation. So they fight. It's super stupid. I hated it. We're going to move on because we're just going to fight some more later. So we'll save it. So it's 8:31 p.m. Luke and Craig are still fighting because I think it was after a commercial break. So I read they're still fighting. Paige, though, is right. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. This is just all dumb.
Yes.
It's all one big dumb thing.
Craig is mad at Luke and Craig is snippy toward anything Luke does. Luke could breathe, like sigh, and Craig would be like, God damn it, why do you have to breathe so loud?
Yeah, which I think angers then Luke or annoys him. I don't think Luke ever really got angry when bickering, but I think he's like, I'm not going to sit here and just like take it.
Craig is annoyed by Luke's presence. Luke is not annoyed by Craig's presence.
No, but
Luke is annoyed when Craig comes at him. Yeah, for like seemingly nothing.
For having you asked him for a story.
And he told you he didn't have one, but he had a hockey one.
Yeah, he didn't just go like, I don't have one of those. He like
or just start telling a hockey story. Like he was telling you what he's got. He does not have a good snowboard story, so he's trying to give you something else.
So stupid. So some people are gonna go out. Amanda has to stay in though because she has a broken knee. She wouldn't even be surprised if Kyle left her because she's damaged goods now. And Kyle's like, Never. I love staying in. We're gonna stay in together.
This is mature
This is awesome.
Kyle.
This was fun. Do
Wow.
you see Craig and Luke? Do you see this is like a little dig, but it's like a very fun little dig
Yeah, it's
where
banter.
Kyle's like, I love staying in. What are you talking about? We know it's a lie, but
I
we like
also
deal.
think production set this up.
This was so
These
weird because
groups.
Jess is like, I'm gonna stay in. And Luke goes, I will also
Me
stay in.
too.
And he looks deep into her eyes.
My God. Well, at one point he says, I'm going to start a fire. Do you want to learn how to start a fire? To Jessica. And I was
I
like,
cried.
stop. Please
No,
stop. You're making me hate
no,
fires now.
I don't want it. Okay, so Craig tells Paige then under his breath that Luke is making Jess feel uncomfortable. So Paige is like, should I stay back with her? And Craig's like, no, absolutely not.
This
Which,
is why I
okay,
think production set this up.
also, let me tell you, Craig, let's say production's out of it, right? If Craig cares that much about Julia, as much as he like seems to,
Jessica.
oh fuck.
You're
If
good.
Craig,
That's the only time.
if Craig is so obsessed with Jess
Yeah,
and her
concerned.
safety, him
Yeah.
and Paige should have stayed back. But
100% agree.
he doesn't care that much. He just hates that Luke is maybe being a little too aggressive
Well,
with the
it's
girl.
like he's annoyed with Luke, so anything he can latch onto that like is legitimately kind of semi bad,
yeah.
Craig is going to blow it up out of proportion, but he will not stay. Yeah, like you said, stay and be a
He
buffer.
doesn't care.
No,
He doesn't actually care. He just wants to destroy Luke.
he just wants to point out what Luke is doing wrong. He doesn't want to try and prevent it.
No, he wants
for Jessica's
Luke to
sake.
fuck up.
He wants Luke to fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah. So even Jess is kind of annoyed that Luke is staying in because she needs space, but whatever. So the go out crew is Craig, Rachel, Jason, Paige, Corey, and Sierra. It's
I'm
like
excited about
date.
this. Love.
So it's 9:45. The going out crew, we'll call them the bar crew, maybe. So yeah. We might do a shot of absinthe, which is crazy, but let's do it. Sierra and Paige go take a shot by themselves. Sierra's definitely into Corey, and Paige is like, listen, I try to have your back on this one.
Yep.
But the Austin situation's really following you. And Sierra's like, oh, I don't want Austin to like
mess this up for me.
Fuck this up.
Yeah.
But she gets it, which I think is very mature. She can see how this is like not a situation someone wants to get into.
Yeah.
Okay, indoor crew. Kyle and Luke are making a roast. It's 9:45 p.m. I thought we had dinner. I don't know what.
Well, they're smoking it, so I think it's gonna smoke all night, and then they're gonna have it tomorrow.
No, they said it's ready at 12 p.m. They eat it at 12 p.m.
Well, I would definitely eat some, but I think this is like since they were already smoking stuff, you might as well throw on a roast for tomorrow. Like,
I hate that. Don't leftovers. Start it at 6 a.m.
I know, I agree. They really should have timed this better, but
okay, whatever. So it's 10:38. The indoor crew, Amanda and Jess are playing Never Have I Ever. They've both never gotten a Brazilian wax, which surprises me, but hey,
I agree with that.
Blondies aren't as hairy, I think.
That is not true. It's just funny that Jessica doesn't even know what that is.
Yeah. I was like, girl. Oof. But we find out Jess has been engaged when she was 18 to her high school sweetheart.
Wait, but she said he was 26.
Yes.
The guy.
He
so
was
she was in high school, not her high school sweetheart.
Well, it was the guy she dated in high school. It was her sweetheart. That's her sweetheart.
I don't think I would call it a high school sweetheart.
She was in
she was in high school.
This is the guy she took to prom, I'm assuming. So like her high school, it is a weird age difference. Listen, if they're not 21, they might be too old for you.
You're just way too 26. You're in such different places. The age difference is not that weird, but these two ages are weird.
I think it's the time.
Yes.
Okay. So she didn't want to though. So when she heard her sister was going to Australia, she was like, that's my out. I'm also going to go to Australia. What a way to be dumb.
She didn't break up with him before she moved. She moved to Australia engaged and clearly long distance broke up with him.
Great. What a girl. She obviously a little messy bitch over here. I love it.
Well, I was about to say, this tells me she has a hard time being confrontational with relationships.
Oh, that's actually a really good, because we see she's not very confrontational here either.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. But okay, so Jess tells Amanda that she was into Luke, but for her, it's like not romantic, right? She's not into it anymore. And she kind of gave Luke a gray space and she needs to give him like black space.
Yeah.
And Amanda does say like Luke is great, but he tends to go for girls that are not interested. such as Hannah and Sierra.
Which the
Broke my
flashback we
heart.
got of him and Sierra when he bought Sierra
That
flowers,
was
and she
sad.
says that she wants to be friends.
But listen, both these women were into him at some point. And
Yes.
Julia, what's her name?
Jessica.
Jessica in the hot tub did say, I like you.
Yes.
So I think what Luke does though is he doesn't have like a slow, medium, fast button. He just has like nothing to fast.
Yes. If he is in and you say that like you like him or give him any indication, he's
He's
all in.
He's
And then I
ready.
don't think he can see when somebody is like walking like back. Like he doesn't have the
No.
awareness to see when somebody isn't in anymore.
I think he's a very like straightforward dude. So you have to literally look and be like, I'm not interested.
Like Amanda said, like it's been all gray. You need to make it black and white.
Yes. Like you got to confront him, which obviously she doesn't like to do.
Yes.
So Kyle and Luke talk about Jess, and Luke is like thinking about her when he brushes his teeth and he's like so about her. And Kyle's like, dude, that's great. Kyle doesn't even think of Amanda when he's brushing his teeth.
This is one thing is like Luke seems to fall hard.
Yeah.
And I think other people are like a slow burn. We need to ease into this and like get excited. Like Jessica's thinking about Luke when she brushes her teeth because she's like worried he's about to come in to the bathroom.
Yes. But she does need to tell him because the last time we saw, she gave him an opening.
Yes.
He entered and she's not happy. She wanted him.
She said she was into him, and she said she did want to kiss him.
Yes. So she wanted him to stay at the door and she would let him in, but he came.
But she opened the door and he walked through himself.
But she just wanted him to stay there.
Yeah, and watch from the outside.
But she opened it and he walked in and she wasn't ready. So I think it's just miscommunication, but we'll get there.
100% agree.
It's 11:16 p.m. We're back out with the bar crew. Craig wants to take a deer head home. Rachel and Jason are alone at the table. Craig drinks Jaeger by himself, which is, this doesn't tell you that he's a psycho. I don't know what does.
This like night is chaotic. It's really fun, but I just like my eyes are wide open like, whoa.
I know. Rachel and Jason make some future plans to hang out.
I'm loving seeing like Jason and Rachel click and like Corey and Sierra. I'm like, these are budding. This is what I love about Winter House. Like the budding, like short romances I'm in for.
Yeah, and Jason's heart fluttered a little bit, but it's like a cute flirt that he does.
Yeah, Jason's good at flirting.
Jason's smooth. I forget, they did like some weird handshake, and he's like, "Oh, I love the fluttering at the end," because that's what the handshake was.
Yeah, it's
like, "Oh, my heart fluttered a little bit," and Rachel goes, "For me."
I'm so literally dead. I'm dead.
It was cute. So then like everyone does Jaeger bombs, which is gross. But then Rachel and Paige talk about how they should hang out in the city. And Paige is like, listen, I don't leave my apartment, so you'll have to come over. And I felt that.
I feel this. I've been thinking about this a lot this past week about how I'm just a homebody now.
This one line, you're like, yeah, that's me, Paige.
I literally was thinking about it because last night was Saturday night and I did not want to leave my home. I was so happy not leaving.
Me too. I'm glad we were in that together. Okay, it's 11:48 p.m. We're back at the house. So they're sitting on the couch together. Mind you, Kyle thinks Luke and Jess are great. Amanda knows that
they're not. Yep.
Luke thinks they're in love. Jess is not. So Luke comes over and puts his hand on Jess's knee, and I wanted to die but listen, even her body language though, if I didn't know, I wouldn't pick up on it.
Over the course of this conversation, as his knee is on her, you can kind of see she's trying to like shift her body away from him. But again, these are subtle cues that Luke does not pick up subtle cues.
No, you got to be direct.
Exactly. Not in the same way, obviously it's my brother, but my brother does not understand some social cues similar to this. Okay. That like while talking, if I'm like backing up, it means I want more space, but he will keep walking towards me. So I have to physically tell him, stop walking towards me. Like I need a physical distance between us.
Yeah, I think they were so subtle though.
Exactly.
I didn't really pick up on them. I just saw her like tighten up a little bit.
I think when you couple a bunch together, some people obviously will pick up on them, but some people don't.
Especially if you're not looking at her. I feel like Luke's
That's
not
true.
really looking at her.
And she's
so
like looking in Amanda's eyes, like her face is away from Luke, and it's like she's like making
Yeah.
wide. So as
It's
a
rough.
viewer, you can see she's
We can
uncomfortable.
see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Amanda then is like, have you ever been into someone who's been more in or wasn't as into you? And Luke's like, oh yeah, constantly. I was like, oh, I want to
You
die.
can't. These are not. This is not a subtle cue, and what I mean by that is like, I mean, it's obviously being obvious, but Luke's not going to realize you're talking about this situation.
No, she thinks you're just playing a game or whatever.
Yes, honestly, I think it's going to push him further into Jessica because nobody would say that in front of someone
That you actually
in this
are.
situation.
Yeah. It's weird. Okay, so we've made it to Monday, 12:41 a.m. The late night crew gets back to the home crew, and it's time to party.
Ooh, or party.
I guess it's time to party. Sierra's dancing on the table. Luke's also dancing on the table, but Craig tells him to get off the table. But then Craig gets on the table after he called Luke a weirdo for being on the table.
Craig is just gonna pinpoint anything and like make it a problem. Like Craig finds it a problem that Luke is dancing with Sierra. I don't want to be danced with, so I would not be on this table. But like this is just normal people having friendly fun.
This is them. Yeah. And I mean, Sierra's known Luke a long time. If she didn't want, and we know Sierra, if she didn't want Luke dancing with her, she was like, get off me.
Stop. Yeah.
But she didn't.
No.
Okay, so Corey chucks a wine glass.
This pisses me off.
Shatters. And Amanda is like, we're done. We're done throwing wine glasses. We're done breaking glass.
Yeah.
And Corey even owns up. He's like, sorry, that was me. You're right.
That was too far.
I
apologize.
Craig then yells at her, like, if you don't want glass in your foot, wear some shoes.
No, that's not how this works.
Paige like puts her hand over Craig's mouth, which I don't think was enough. I would have been like, Craig, shut the fuck up. She was more like, hey, buddy, keep it in your head. And I was like, no.
But you also don't know they're denying. Sometimes I think the dynamics of relationships, some people don't like. I think if she would have yelled at Craig, that would have egged him on more.
Oh, you think
that like sometimes talking calmly to people actually like does work better,
calms them down.
So I think like he could probably hears her more clearly when she's talking calmly to him.
Well, it didn't really work because Amanda's picking up the glass because she doesn't want to step on it.
Yes.
And Craig's mad because we should be having fun. And that means trashing the house.
And I guess not cleaning up the objects. Amanda doesn't want to step on glass. So she's going to clean it up herself so she doesn't step on glass. And she's not complaining.
She's not asking you
to clean it up. Yeah.
I bet Corey probably would have helped her if she asked. But like, I don't know what you're doing here. But then Craig looks at Kyle and is like, what the fuck is she doing? And Kyle's like, picking up the glass. What are you talking about? Yeah. And then Craig tells Amanda it's silly. And Amanda's like, that's great. Go away then. Like, don't be here.
This was weird to me.
And then Craig tells Amanda she looks stupid. And Amanda again says, thank you so much. Goodbye. And Craig's now mad.
See, I think he feeds off of anger. So I think they obviously know.
They weren't even mad.
I know. But I think Amanda's realizes that like yelling at Craig will only fire him up more. So she's like just trying to disengage from him.
But you can only take so much because Craig starts yelling at Amanda and Kyle. And he's like, why are you guys yelling at me? And Kyle's like, no one's yelling except you, my guy.
I love that line because it's true.
Yeah, so Paige is so embarrassed. She leaves to go put on her pajamas. Craig calls Amanda the worst and the biggest devil. And now Kyle's involved and he calls Craig a big ass diva. Yep. And Kyle, because Paige then comes back and looks over the balcony. And Kyle tells Paige to get her boyfriend on a chain because he's batshit crazy. And Paige is like, what'd he do? And Amanda's like, he just like yells at us for picking up glass and he won't stop. Even Amanda was like, Kyle, don't get mad at Paige, but like, just so you know, he keeps fucking yelling at me. And he's yelling at me for not dancing on tables. Cause like, apparently that's not fun. But like Luke can't
also
dance
remember Luke can't.
Luke's not allowed.
Yeah.
And Paige is like, I can't control Craig. I don't know what to do. So now in the kitchen, Luke is talking about Jess, I think, and Craig brings up fireworks. So now they fight about the fireworks again. So
We made it to 1:12 a.m.
I think
Amanda
Craig just wants an argument. He just keeps
He's picking fights. He calls Luke a weirdo. It didn't work. He tries yelling at Amanda for picking up glass. It didn't work.
So he's trying to find the next one.
Hey, Luke, fireworks.
Yep, that'll set it off.
And so it's 1:12 a.m. Amanda goes up to Craig and is like, we don't need to fight. Let's hug.
I love that. She's
fine.
Such a bigger person.
Rachel, Jess, and Jason are completely separated. They're having their own little fun. It's very cute. So then it's 2:20. It's time for bed and PJs. Everyone's going to bed. Count Amanda are dead ass asleep. So now it's 2:47 and there's still people up in the kitchen. There's Jess, there's Paige. I think Rachel's around. I don't know. There's like a ton of people, but the main characters are Jess, Craig, Jason, Paige, and Luke.
Yes. So like Jason and Rachel are like, I think like near the sink in the kitchen, and then Jess is sitting at the kitchen table. Craig is standing by the island in between those two areas, and Paige eventually sits down at the table too.
Yes. So
standing in that area.
What's happening? There's like someone else getting a massage. It might be like Rachel and Jason, but then like Luke starts giving Jess a massage. And it's like kind of weird. He's like rubbing her back and her shoulders.
He like first walks near her and puts his hand like on her back, and then he starts like massaging her like upper neck.
Yeah,
and,
someone else was doing this too.
Down.
So, like, it could have easily been like Jess is like, I want a massage, and like it like oddly happened. But
we didn't get any asking for it in the cut.
No. We just see like there's two girls sitting and getting their shoulders rubbed and by two separate men, and one of those couples is Jess and Luke.
Yes.
So that's happening. Craig hates it. Craig is like, he's creeping Jess out. This is the worst thing in the world.
Well, you can see again in her body, like once he really starts massaging her, she gets rigid. Yeah.
Yes.
And she's like not really talking to him. Her head is like leaned forward and her shoulders are up. Like you can tell she's not relaxed enjoying this. This is definitely body language I think he should have picked up on. But again, we're drinking and things are different. Yeah. I know. I'm just saying, like, when you're giving somebody a massage, like, they're typically not very tensed and hunched. And, like, her body language is a little more
obvious.
Yes, in this instant.
But again, like, we're drinking. I don't know, like, how the lead up to this massage happened or whatever, but whatever. So, now there's an issue because like Luke comes away from Jess. He's now near the island. Paige is on a chair closest to Luke, and then Craig's next to Luke almost, and the chair closest to him is Jess. So, Paige and Luke are talking, and Paige says like, it's cold. You think I could start a fire?
Yeah.
And Luke had his hand on like Paige's knee and then like rubbed her, like almost pet her head. And it did look a little weird, but also like they're weirdly friends and she didn't like say anything.
Luke seems to be
he's touchy,
a physical touch person.
Yes. And I think Paige maybe knows this already.
Yes. Like, I bet Paige is used to this.
Yeah.
So it's not as like, but like these are kind of, I would say to me, if I was Paige, this would bother me, but I'm also a different person. But I think these are definitely more forward touches, than just like your average friendship.
Here, I will say, I have, like I said, a lot of guy friends, and I wouldn't think this was weird.
I think the knee one isn't as weird, but when he goes to her head and neck,
I don't think the head one is that weird. Just from my point, again, I don't know the dynamics, but kind of sticking up for like, we don't know the dynamics. A lot of my friends will, like guy friends will grab my head or my neck, especially like if I make them laugh or something, or we're like in a situation, especially if we're drunk at the bar. It's happened to me a lot. And I'm always okay with it. I don't mind.
It's definitely like a one-to-one type of friendship. Like how does your friendship normally go? Like, does each person like I hate the word physical touch because it seems so like sexual, but it's not. But just like in a friendship, physical touch way, like what's the dynamic of that? I will say like Craig is looking on, and like any boyfriend can get jealous about anything. Like, let's just level set that. It is, I think, always interesting, a dynamic of a boyfriend, girlfriend with a guy friend with the girlfriend.
Here's the other thing is like Luke and Paige have lived together multiple
times.
Yep.
They also like
I think
the
3
Hannah
years in the
thing.
summers.
Yeah, the Hannah thing. So like we know each other on a different level because you know, dated her friend. It can get like different. And I think like again, if I'm uncomfortable with one of my guy friends touching my head, I would be like, don't touch my head.
And Paige is the type who would say that.
Who would do that too.
Yep.
And I think almost Luke was just so proud. He's like, oh my God, you're gonna make a fire.
Yes.
You know, I don't, again, I do think Luke can be overly touchy. I think he's missing a lot of signs.
Yes.
But I don't think this
is malicious
for me.
Yes, but and then let's also not, again, this is not like right by any means, but no matter what Luke does, Craig's gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
So obviously Craig gets really pissed about this.
Also, we don't hear the full conversation.
Yeah.
It's very wild lines. We
Choppy.
don't like see a lot. The camera's not totally there. So
we
then
get a
I was
lot of like high up footage, you know, the surveillance type footage.
And it's hard to read lips. So this also could have been something else. Like obviously it's not, I'm not saying this is exactly what it was. Like it very well could be Luke was being overly touching and made someone feel uncomfortable. But also like sometimes with my guy friends, I'll be like, my legs are super hairy and they'll just like touch it. Like there could have been some lead up.
Yeah,
again,
that
like,
we're not seeing. This is being cut weird or.
Because it's weird for them to be like, her to be like, can I start a fire? And him be like, let me grab your head. You're going to start a fire.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. We're not, no matter what, we're not getting all the context. It's impossible to.
So then here's what happened then. Oh, because Paige also says, Luke, you're rubbing off on me. And that's when he touches the head. So
that's
she
the
said
thing.
Something
she made a comment.
Like,
and I think that comment sparked in Craig's mind rubbing, like the word rubbing.
You're rubbing off on me. And like, I want to start a fire.
And he's physically kind of like rubbing her.
Because then that's kind of cute, right? Like, Luke, you're rubbing off on me. And he's like, oh, and he grabs the head. It like kind of can make more sense. I don't know. But Luke gets mad. Or no,
Craig.
not Luke. Craig gets mad and pushes Luke. And Craig's mad and says if Luke pets Paige again, he'll throw him through a goddamn window. So it escalated. So then Paige crawls completely out of the situation.
This is awkward.
I don't think I would have done. I would have been like, it's okay. I'm not mad. Like,
I don't think I would have gotten in the middle of it physically, but I'm upset that I don't mind Paige physically moving herself because I would not want to be physically near that, but I don't like Paige going silent and physically moving.
I think that's it is like there's a fight about to be ensued over something that supposedly affected you. Yes. I'd be like, I'm fine. I don't do this fight. I would have said something to be like, hey man, don't defend me. This literally isn't worth it, but whatever. Okay. So she runs. So then Jason kind of gets involved to like push them away.
Yeah.
And Craig says, stop touching Jess, stop touching girls without them saying you could touch them. He says, Luke, you make them feel uncomfortable. Stop massaging Jess or I'll throw you through a goddamn window. And Luke is like, what the fuck? Where did this come from?
Yeah, this is definitely, I think, coming out of Craig is not the right messenger for this, first off.
No.
Because I think Luke will, no matter what, interpret it as you just hate me.
I think the other thing too is if you're Jess or even Paige, this is embarrassing. Craig's embarrassing them on like levels, especially Jess.
It makes it really awkward.
It makes it awkward for like Craig isn't thinking like, what are the repercussions of my actions other than throwing Luke through a goddamn window, right? Like Jess is clearly uncomfortable and is like, please don't bring me into this.
At the end of this, I want to really talk about like the different thoughts behind this because I think there's a reason why I think Jess is uncomfortable or like uncomfortable with Craig just outing it.
Yes. Okay. So, Craig, like, you just touched my girlfriend, and Luke's like, your girlfriend, who is my friend, is the one actually hiding from you right now, which like isn't totally wrong. Like Paige fucking bolted. So then Luke says she's hiding from you because you said you were going to throw me through a goddamn window. So why don't you do it? And Craig's like, I'm going to throw you through the window. And Luke keeps saying like, do it then, do it. Like, I'm fucking right here, do it, which is what I would do to de-escalate. I'd be like, if you're not going to do it, then shut up.
Yeah.
But okay, so Craig tells Luke to shut the fuck up or he's going to get knocked the fuck out. Which like,
I hate tough guy talk. Like
I hate threatening talk. I hate it, especially if you're not going to do it. Luke can do it then.
I know. I just like, this is so dumb, especially when we keep just saying the same phrases back and forth.
I know. So Luke tells Craig he's not a god, which whatever. Paige goes straight into her closet. Craig says again, if Luke touches Jess, Luke's gonna or Luke's going through a fucking window. And then Craig storms off and says he's gonna kill someone, which my guy,
Right.
calm it down. So then
Yes.
Luke then calls after Craig and says, "What did I do?" And everyone starts to kind of go to their rooms. Corey checks on Jess. Jess has a lot of emotions after that fight and even tears up in her confessional. Craig goes and apologizes to Jess, and she confirms that she felt really uncomfortable.
I did like this, that Craig like went to her,
Yeah,
apologized, didn't want her to be uncomfortable, and knows that she is uncomfortable, so is trying to comfort that piece.
yeah, and was like, "Why don't you come to our room?" So she goes into Paige's room.
He like takes her to the girls, which I think is really
yeah.
a really smart move.
So Jess starts crying with the girls, and Paige tells Jess that she gets it. And Luke's not a bad guy. He's just stupid, which I think is
Yes.
very big that a lot of people, Amanda said this too, like Luke's not bad.
I don't think he's
Just, like,
maliciously doing this.
No, he's not. He's just stupid. But Paige isn't defending Luke, but also says Craig blew it up really inappropriately.
Yes.
And Jess agrees because like she's just kind of like, I wish he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Now it's like a thing.
Which I don't think Craig, here's my other thing is like, I don't think Craig was trying to be malicious towards
No,
Jessica.
I
He
don't
was
think
trying to be
boys know
malicious.
how to handle some of these situations
No,
too.
but I think Craig was trying to be malicious towards Luke, which
I
is
agree
where
with
I
that.
think Craig was a little more like, you know, of an ass in this
Yeah.
situation. Okay, whatever. So Paige reassures Jess that none of this is her fault. Luke then calls his sister at God knows what hour, and Luke's
She definitely
crying.
like gets on the phone and is like sleepy, and I'm like, oh, this is definitely a late hour.
So Luke's crying, and Luke's sister assures that Luke has never made her feel unsafe and like doesn't think that he does that, and said like uncomfortable and unsafe are two very different things. Which I agree. I think those are two very different words.
Yeah, I think it's
sometimes.
also difficult for, listen, family is always going to like love on
Stick
each
up.
other. Yes. And I think there is a difference between, not again, I don't think Luke's trying to be malicious, but you're going to treat your sister different than how you treat women out there. So I find this difficult that like, oh, well, you don't treat me bad. So like, there's no way you don't do any of this.
I agree. Or maybe
I think
she's never seen something like that.
Yes. And like, listen, especially in the moment as like a sibling or like a family member, you're just gonna like ride or die for your sibling. Yes. And be like, you're a good guy, XYZ. But I do want to say that like, just because you don't treat your sister poorly doesn't mean you don't treat other people poorly.
But I do think uncomfortable is more of like a, you made me feel weird. I didn't be there. And unsafe is more of I felt like I was in danger.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So Craig then says, if Luke stays in this house, he's gone. And Sierra's trying to calm Craig down, but Craig says he's going to call the cops.
I just can't with this drama, like this drama level.
I agree. So Luke does say that up until the night, Jess has shown interest in him, but now he's rethinking everything, and he like doesn't know if he missed a sign, and he doesn't want to be that guy.
When I first watched this, I was really on like Luke, like
being uncomfortable.
Yes, but then whenever like he said that, I was like, you're right. Like it's really hard to see other people's perspectives, and I'm like, a lot of things are being unsaid on both parties.
Yes.
And I think that's really difficult.
Yeah.
But this is a common thing that happens, and I'm really happy it's being highlighted.
I agree. And I think it is, especially since Luke like did get verbal confirmation that she was into him. Yeah. And then that kind of changed overnight. Yes. He was kind of like, well, I don't know what to do. And I think this shows him like, as he's reflecting back, it shows that he never meant that. And he never wanted that. And he's even taking time to be like, what did I do? Did I miss something? Yes. Yeah. Which is realistically what fucking Craig should maybe be doing once in a while. But
I really like the self-reflection and getting both sides of it.
I do too.
Because I think as someone who does not like physical touch, I find myself in these environments a lot where like I don't want to be touched, but people often do touch me. And it's really hard to say no to people without it being perceived as rude or mean. So like I do find myself in this position a lot, and I really hate it, and my skin crawls. And sometimes, depending on who the person is, I will just accept the feelings and take it. because like I don't want that person, like they do show love in a physical touch way, and like for instance, like my grandma like really likes physical touch. I hate it, so like I will swallow like my feelings down because I know like I don't want to be mean to her, but I hate it. But whereas like strangers I don't know, like I will literally like draw a physical line and really communicate that clearly. But then there's these gray areas with like someone like Luke where you're like, how do I give subtle hints where I don't have to say these things and make it really weird, that I don't want you to touch my knee, I don't want you to massage my back, or like how do I put distance between us? Like one thing I noticed is like Jess will try to create distance between them, but he like keeps finding her, and that's really hard to manage in a social environment. And I can't even imagine doing it on TV too, because you're trying not to embarrass him. Like you don't want to say these things because it's really awkward already, and then to also do it on a TV show would be really difficult.
And you're living with them.
Yes.
See, I think
day
too,
3.
It's hard for a lot of women in particular because we've always been told like just be kind and nice, and I think there's always this thing where like we're learning now you don't have to let people hug or touch you if you don't want to. And I think like I've become really good at subtle hints, right? So if someone's massaging my shoulders I don't like, I'd be like, oh, I'm really tight, like that hurts, don't do it. Like I would do something like that.
Yeah,
like,
try to shake it off.
Or like if your hand was on my leg, I tend to go like, I'm really ticklish, don't do that. Don't touch me. I get really ticklish.
More like subtle, but
until
like above subtle. Yes. But without being harsh and saying, I don't want this.
Because here's the other thing. I don't think she hates Luke at all. I don't think Jess like dislikes Luke. So I think she just was waiting to have a conversation to be like, I'm no longer interested.
I don't think she would have had this conversation.
I think Amanda kind of told her to. I think that was when Jess was like, I need to, but then the crew came home and everything escalated. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. This conversation with Amanda happened like 2 hours before.
Yeah, I think tomorrow or something, Jess would have been like, hey, you know what? I'm going to get to know everyone. There are other ways to do it.
Yeah.
So I do think there are other options. I think sometimes you do need to be like a little more direct, especially if you were direct from the beginning, right? If they never had that conversation in the hot tub, I don't think Luke would be this touchy.
I agree.
I think he might still be there, but I don't
think he would. I think
her.
He's a touchy person in general, but
I think it'd be more the Paige thing, like touch,
exactly. He wouldn't be like following her.
Yeah, I think there'd be more space.
Yes.
I think it's the conversation he took very like, I'm 33, I'm excited to like date someone. And she's more of a, I'm 23, probably not that young, but I'm young and like,
I'm just flirting with someone.
Yeah. And I think they just need to communicate.
She wants like a Jason and Rachel type of thing where they're like having moments together, but then they're like separating too.
This just wasn't the way for that to come out.
No.
And we're almost done, so we'll like get there, but we'll finish up. Okay, so Luke is upset. He wants to go home. Craig wants to fight Luke. God. Sierra tells Paige, like, because Sierra comes back in the room and is basically like, hey, Paige, I love you and respect you as a person. And if that's the person you want to ride with, I got your back. But also, he's a fucking crazy person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even her friends are kind of like, I get it, but also like,
this is too much.
Boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your boyfriend on a chain.
Yeah. So Jess is basically just like, I wish I had the conversation with Luke. I don't like how Craig did it.
Yeah.
And Craig threatens to leave, but Luke is packing his shit and he leaves, calls an Uber.
Which like, wow.
Whole heart. Which like I get though. This shows I think that Luke is genuinely a bigger person though, because he not only took a second to self-reflect, but he's like, I need to remove myself from this situation.
I agree.
To make everyone feel like a little better and de-escalate.
I'm shocked he truly packed everything up in that moment and left. Because that makes it feel more final to me, like he's leaving the house. I don't know what happens, but I really enjoy that he wants to remove himself from this situation. I think because of the Craig aspect of it, like Craig is going way too far and cannot just like let this simmer down at all, which is like insane. But I do like Luke reflecting on this because I think someone who is more of a touchy-feely person, like himself, like does need to kind of realize. I think people who are more touchy-feely don't realize that other people do not enjoy this stuff as much. So like I think he is in therapy, and I think he is someone who is self-aware when he needs to reflect and is becoming more and more self-aware about just things in general.
Agreed. And
So I
I
think
don't
he
think
takes this seriously.
I don't think he would ever want to make anyone feel
No.
uncomfortable or safe or even like not wanting to be in his presence. So he will take that and be like, I need to do something different.
Yes. But I
which
think also
appreciate.
like Jessica should take this and like do some self-reflection of like, just because someone is nice doesn't mean you have to, like, I'm not saying she's bringing this on herself, but you need to set boundaries with people. Like,
Yeah.
if something is uncomfortable to you, you need to be able to man up or woman up and have the conversation.
Yeah, I think I don't want to put any blame on Jess because I don't think any of this is her fault.
I think she needs to communicate her boundaries.
gonna
Though. That's
say
where her responsibility lies.
I think it was a miscommunication that she needed to take
Mhm.
because Luke wasn't going to open up that conversation because he thought a totally different scenario was coming.
And this happened too quickly for her to do that or have the opportunity to do that.
So should we talk about, I like don't even know because I think also like with the Craig thing, I don't think he necessarily was wrong in what he was seeing, but I think the way he delivered it, the way he
Yes.
caused embarrassment, the way he acted,
The way
all
he
of it was
handled
wrong.
it was not okay.
And I think that's why, even though like if Craig wasn't involved, I'd be like, Luke is kind of in the wrong for not like catching on to this and being too touchy-feely. Jess is kind of in the wrong for not communicating. But overall, I think Craig is 100% the asshole in this scenario.
I agree.
Just because, and also like as a woman, I don't want my shit put on blast, especially if I'm really in an uncomfortable situation. Like I will talk to my girlfriends, figure out how to take care of it in a way that comforts me. That is no responsibility to you. Unless I come to you and say, get this kid off me, there is no need to put my shit on blast.
Jessica has not talked to Craig about it.
She's not talked to one man about it. She's only talked to her female friends and said, what should I do? And the ones that know.
She has semi talked to Corey and like alluded like, oh yeah, he like comes on very strong, but like not like, I don't want him to touch me. Like this is too much. For, like, yeah.
And she has gone to two people who have known Luke a long time. They've both told her he's not a bad person. He's just stupid. You need to be direct.
To talk to him. Yeah.
And she did not have a chance to. And Craig took it upon himself. If Craig was really that caring of Julia, he would have been like, hey, Luke, can I talk to you outside really quick? Told Luke, I think you're being a little too touchy with Jess. Yeah. She looks uncomfortable from my angle. You should talk to her about that.
Even if he yelled, like, stop touching them and then like didn't blow it up into this huge fight, I think that'd be different. Like, I don't think Craig would be as much of an asshole if he just was like, stop it, you know,
with the Paige thing, he could have been like, stop touching my girlfriend. You're all touchy-feely.
Yeah, like you're overly touchy-feely tonight. Just let it be. Like, if he even just like made one comment similar to that and didn't make this a huge fight and put Jess on blast,
that would have
been fine.
He could have used the Paige thing and put his girlfriend a little on blast because he could have come off as like the jealous boyfriend.
Yeah.
But this was just so entirely uncomfortable for Jess. Like I felt for her.
It's Craig capitalizing on Jess's uncomfortableness to yell at Luke, and that's not okay.
Do we think the house is going to be sad, Luke, when they find out Luke's not there? Do we think there's going to be any kind of like sadness or I don't want to say guilt, but almost like we should have maybe checked, or maybe Jess will be like, I should have talked to him.
I don't know what's going to happen, but what I really hope happens is that there's kind of like, it doesn't have to be the whole house, because I think that then becomes like ganging up on people. And I never like that environment where there's a whole group sitting around and one person is being talked to, aka Craig. But I really hope Paige talks to Craig, like when they're sober in the morning. Cause this is not the time to correct Craig's behavior at night. Like, it's not an actual meaningful conversation, but I hope like some of the girls talk to Craig, tell him like what happened. I hope Craig apologizes to Jessica. And then I hope like we figure out like how to either somebody talk to Luke and just be like, listen, like, and I hope Jessica gets to talk to Luke about, you know, what she's feeling.
I hope someone goes to get Luke. Like, I hope Kyle or someone, and Amanda, because they kind of weren't into it.
Kyle and Amanda would be a really good duo to go.
Yeah, I think Amanda would be great to like stop with the Craig thing and be like, what happened and why did you yell? And Kyle would be a great, like, I'm going to go get Luke kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope someone goes to like get Luke. I hope they bring him back. I hope Jess can have that conversation. And I hope Craig apologizes to both Jess and Luke a little bit. Like, you can't just threaten people. That was my other thing, is Craig just kept threatening.
Yeah.
Which is like not a great look or way to fight.
He's like trying to be this, like, I'm standing up for women. And like, I think the idea behind like not having like Jess and Paige like touched if they don't want to be touched is like a good thing. But again, like you can't just be this knight in shining armor for like this isn't your job unless asked for, like you're not here to,
Yeah.
like what you should do is be going to Jess and trying to get her out of that situation if you want to try
If you
and like
actually
talk to
cared.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
You
it's a
actually
multiple
cared.
day over day, like again, this is day 3. If this is day 16 and Luke kept doing this and like Jess had tried to talk to him or like given a lot of hints, multiple people like said some things and Luke was still doing this, Craig's thing would be in the right place, like screaming it to this level. If this was like at the end of the vacation, this was still happening.
I agree. My heart kind of breaks for Jess and Luke a little bit.
This is just a tricky situation that honestly happens all the time. And it's really, really difficult to deal with. And you have to kind of walk on eggshells with things like this, where like nobody I think is like truly malicious. People are just trying to like operate in society. And it's really difficult.
My other thought though is like if I'm Paige and I maybe see Jess being uncomfortable or Rachel or just like some girl, right? As a girl, I would be like, hey Jess, want to come to the bathroom with me? Like I would probably also throw in. So to me, like unless asked, men are kind of the last people that need to step in because this is what happens. I think with women, I find more comfort in trusting women for like how to help, what to do. So then in this situation, right, if I was Jess, I would be like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, Paige, you want to come with me? And then like maybe Paige could help. Or
if I'm at a bar with strangers and a guy comes and like gropes me, I want a male to step in because I'm kind of physically scared too. So like there are moments where like, yes, men should step in.
I'm talking about strictly in this moment.
Yes.
I think there are, if Jess is very uncomfortable, which I think she is,
I think more time was needed to play this out correctly.
I agree.
Like there are multiple escalation steps before Craig needs to go to threatening Luke's life through a glass.
I feel for Jess, but my heart does break a little bit for Luke just because I do think this was handled so on blast. Like it was embarrassing for Jess, it was embarrassing for Luke, it was honestly embarrassing for Craig, but in like a different fucking way.
What makes me feel good though is that Luke I think will really take things from this in a really positive way. Like I think some people have learned a lot about situations and I really hope, I don't know anything about Jessica, but I hope that like she learns that she needs to be more confrontational. And that's what gives me hope is like, hopefully
they can both learn.
If they ever run into that, hopefully they don't ever run into a situation like this ever again, because like you've learned through you really only learn things through terrible experiences. Let's be honest. Like you learn so much through your mistakes. And I hopefully like, this is one of those learning moments in general for the entire house.
All right. So on like a lighter note, should we do fun, not fun?
I feel like we should maybe only pick a fun because like, I feel like picking a not fun puts one person on blast for this whole entire situation. And I don't really like that this episode.
Really? I like I said, I think Craig's the overall asshole.
I know, but I don't think like, I always think a situation like this has so many, I'm just not going to pick a lot of
layers.
Yeah. So like, I'm not going to pick a not fun personally.
I'm going to, because I feel strongly. I felt like it was embarrassing. I am going to pick Craig first. I think that the way he treats people is out of control and his entitlement is like not appropriate. But then
even like before this situation happened.
I think he's intolerable. But then following up with that, I think in this situation, he could have handled it differently to a point that he wouldn't have been the asshole. But the thing that bothers me is he doesn't actually care about Jess or Paige's like safety or feeling comfortable.
I don't think that. I think he does care.
I don't think he cares. I think he sees an opening, and I think he is a little malicious. Even if he does care a little bit, he doesn't care enough to think, oh, this is probably an inappropriate way for me to do this. Oh, this might hurt Jess. He like doesn't think that far. And so I agree that like what Luke did is slightly wrong, but I think Craig overwhelmingly did not do it from a place of good, and he didn't stop. Like he still is raging, which I think is just even more embarrassing. Like I think he put Jess in a bad situation. And I personally, if I was Jess, I would be really, really upset with Craig. I wouldn't be upset with Luke. So that's just where I'm coming from, and I'm gonna stick up for that. So so we can pick a fun now.
Yeah. Do you have your fun?
No, I don't. Do you?
I am going to pick Rachel. I'm really happy that she woke up and did not clean this whole house herself again.
No, absolutely not.
Making breakfast, still starting her day like she's an early riser. She can't help that. I loved learning more about, her running her florist business really all on her own and kind of peeling back the layers of her. And I'm really, really excited about this like budding friendship relationship between her and Jason. I love their little moments of like, oh, you feel so warm, and them hanging out at the bar. I really enjoyed the bar atmosphere while everybody was out. I think it was really fun, and that's what I do enjoy about this type of show and kind of Bravo shows in general.
Yeah, they're cute. But I'm gonna pick Kyle. I think Kyle had a pretty good episode. Him and Amanda don't fight, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. I think he tried to take care of Amanda when she got hurt on her sled, and he even stayed in with her, which he would have never done. And then when she got yelled at for picking up glass, he, I think, in the right moment, stuck up for her and didn't like step too far over, but also didn't escalate the situation enough that there would be a fight.
I agree.
He stood up for his girlfriend or his wife. Sorry.
I think he really handled that well. Yeah.
Agreed. Okay. So we have some thoughts from the Patreon. Let me pull them up. Okay. So Casey said, only halfway through, and what is happening? I know, the madness.
Yeah.
Tonette says, I'm telling you, Corey is so cute.
Corey is looking better and better every
I don't know
episode.
where he went during that fight. He like fucking disappeared.
I wonder if he went to bed like a Kyle and Amanda did.
I love that. I support. Okay, but then also says, sorry, I clicked. Okay, this is all kinds of awkward with Luke, and I'm loving Amanda and Kyle post marriage. Agreed. It was awkward. Luke putting like not reading Jess's sign and putting his hand on her knee. I felt that so bad.
Especially because they're obviously going to edit it to be even more like they want the audience to feel awkward. That like I felt like his hand was on my knee in that situation, and I feel awkward in those. Like I felt it. Like they did really good editing this episode, I do have to say. Yeah.
Okay. So then she said that did escalate quickly, but he did kind of pet her. And it was after he was making the room awkward after petting the other girl. All Luke had to say was sorry, opposed to do it. Ooh, other thoughts. I think, he maybe could have said sorry.
I think Luke does need to like have a conversation with Jess and just
I think
he has a piece of this. A lot of people own a piece of this.
Every person has a piece. I think in this situation though, Tonette, if someone was screaming at me and I was drunk and it was someone I didn't like and they're threatening to throw me through a goddamn window, I'm not going to say sorry. I'm going to be like, do it then.
I think tomorrow, if or not tomorrow, but like tomorrow in this world, that if Luke talks to Jess, I think he will be apologetic because like he is a really.
I think he'll be apologetic to Jess or even Paige. I don't think he's going to be apologetic to Craig.
No, I don't think he needs to be apologetic to Craig.
No. But I think I agree. He could have probably just
there
said
were like
sorry.
flames going off.
But
though.
then
he was his attention was moving.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. And again, like maybe if Craig had just said like, stop touching them, you're making them feel, or like it looks uncomfortable, he would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry. But it's like, if you touch her again, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass. It's like, well, do it.
And I'm also realistic. Like, let's be honest, when anybody's told they're doing something wrong, people get defensive. So
we're all drunk. He's being called out in front of everyone.
Yes.
It's not good.
I just don't expect, and I'm sorry, but I do long-term believe.
Yeah. In this situation, I did not expect anyone to apologize. And then Tonette goes, oh my God, he left. What the fuck? Thank God he's not driving. Okay. I thought that too.
My hope is that we did not see the physical bags and boxes be carried out. That like, I think he packed all the shit and
maybe
left.
Production was like, let's just
get you to a hotel and then we can move your stuff out tomorrow. And then obviously the things like dust will settle.
Yeah. Cause I don't know where the hell he's going, but it'd have to be a hotel. It couldn't just be like it's
kind of like that night that him and Kyle got into a fight. I bet he went to a hotel.
I gotta say though, he played it off a little cooler here than he did with Kyle. Him and Kyle were about to physically fucking kill each other.
I think him talking to his sister did him wonders.
I think that helped. It helped him reflect a little bit.
And this house is multi-layered. Craig is in the highest story and Luke's room is in the basement.
Yes.
So there's a physical distance where like Craig or Kyle and Luke were yelling at each other like across the way, not multiple floors.
I also think with Kyle and Luke,
I think there's more love than there is anger there. So when they were in a fight, it was very short-lived, and yeah, it got like physical, but I think it was very much like at the end of the day, we love each other because they sat
Mhm.
down and had that whole conversation. But I think this is very like, I think if it were to get physical, Craig would not hold back. I think he would fully fucking throw, and I think Luke would too.
Mhm. I think it would be
You know,
real
when you're
physical.
like fighting with someone, you're like, I don't want to go too deep because like I love them.
I think it's like getting your face physical with Kyle and Luke, like scream at each other, like type of like aggression, whereas Kyle and Craig would be legit physical. And I think, or sorry,
You
Luke
mean-
and Craig would be legit physical. And I don't think Luke
Go
wants
back.
to
You
be
said
involved in
Luke
that.
and Craig the first time and the
Oh,
second
sorry,
time.
Kyle and
So
Luke
Kyle and Luke, yeah,
are in your face,
but they
screaming
got
at each other.
physical.
Not like punches.
No, but they held. They had
Exactly.
each other.
Yeah. So I think it's like kind of like a fake physical.
Yeah, I think Craig and Luke would throw. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that Luke had enough self-awareness to like get out, because
Yes.
Craig's still ready to fucking throw down,
Yes.
which I think is scary. But I'm also glad he's not driving because we're clearly drunk.
Oh,
Like,
they rarely let you drive in Bravo Sphere, especially if you drink at all.
Thank goodness. Okay, so that's the episode. It was a long one, but there was a lot to get through.
Yes.
Please be sure to join our Patreon. Follow us on Instagram, and please rate, review, subscribe.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.